Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tudu Frank, your brother and your friend. And in this particular video, this will be a very first video on Microsoft Excel. So to open Microsoft Excel is quite simple. All right, I will just press my Windows key on the keyboard, or you just go straight to where you have your Excel. You should learn to know how to open Excel. But if you just go to your Windows key, you press the Windows key whether on Windows 8 or Windows 10, this screen will appear. You just type on the search bar right here. The search bar here, you just type Excel. And once you type Excel on this, you will see the version of Excel you have installed on your system will reflect here. So you just double click on that and you see Excel is loading. Here you have the screen. If your interface is smaller like my own, you can click this particular button. We'll get back to this button. Clicking here will expand it to full the screen. Now let me pause a little and explain what Excel is being used for. Microsoft Excel is a software, is a spreadsheet application used for data manipulation and calculations. So people use Excel in different ways. Like engineering, an engineer will use Excel to perform some calculation pertaining to bill of engineering and some other engineering calculations. And economics will use Excel as well. Accountants use Excel, and a whole lot of people use Excel. Even business people use Excel to keep track of their businesses. A lot of people use Excel as well. Even in schools, Excel is used to calculate result, to compute result. So Excel is used by different sort of people, and it's one of the generally used application in the world. When you finish mentioning Microsoft Word, the next application should be Excel, because Excel is applicable in every profession in life. So this video will explain to you the features of Excel, what we have on the screen and what they stand for. So what you're seeing right now is the Microsoft Excel user interface. All right, I will take time to explain this environment. So the first thing I want to talk about is called the title bar. This particular bar up here is called the title bar. Now, the title bar comprises of five basic items. The first item here is book one. This book one represents the name of the file. The file name is book one by default. When you open a new workbook, like by workbook, I mean a new Excel file, what you're going to see here is book one. Book one represents the name of the file. If you save this file, to save this file, you will go to file menu here and click on save. If I save this file, like let's say I call it first class. What happened now is you see the name of the file have changed from book one to first class, which means this particular text represents the file name. And the second option, I mean, the second thing you see on the title bar is Microsoft Excel, which is the application name. And down here to the right, we have this button, which is called the minimize button. Now, what this button does is to get this off the screen, and you can get it back. Sorry, you can get this button minimize the whole screen, and you can get it off from here, just like the minimize button on your phone. It works just that way. The second button here is called restore down. By clicking here, it will reduce the size of your screen, as in the size of your Excel user interface. And clicking back on the same button will maximize it to full the screen. And the very last button here is called the close button. What this button will do is to exit the application. By clicking here, it will close the application, which I don't want to close now. The next item we have here is the quick access toolbar, comprising these three items. The first thing here is called the save button. We have the undo button, and we have the repeat button. That means which can also be called the redo button. So those are the title, meaning these are the quick access toolbar. You can add an item to it by selecting the items here to be added to this quick access toolbar. We have the file menu, which I already have used that in saving the file. It helps you perform all these options like save, open, close, view recent file, and go to new document, print, and other options you're seeing right here. Right now, we have this other side, Now this the whole of this box from this place down to the end here, the whole of this box is called the ribbon. Normal ribbon, ribbon. Now what ribbon means, this ribbon comprises tabs and groups of command buttons. We have about 7 tabs here in this particular version of Excel. The first tab is called the Home tab, which is divided into groups. The groups we have under the Home tab are the clipboard groups, font groups, alignment groups. We have number group, we have styles, cells, and editing. Now someone will say group of what? These are group of command buttons. Like the buttons we have over here is under the font group. So in the session of this class, I can tell you, okay, go to alignment group and click on mesh and center. It means where you're going to see mesh and center is under the alignment group. And the alignment group is found under which tab? It's found on the home tab. So we have tab, T-O-B, mean T-A-B, and we have groups, and then we have command buttons. The buttons are under the groups. So that is how this functions. If you click on the next tab, the insert tab, you will see the groups names will change and different buttons will come up. Same thing applicable to all of them. So your first assignment, if this is your very first class in Excel, your first assignment is you will pick pen and paper, you write down the names of all the 7 groups, all the 7 tabs, the home tab, insert tab. Then when you write the first one like home tab, you now list down all the groups you have, not the command buttons, so just list down the groups you have under the home tab. And then you go to the second one, you click on insert, then you write down all the groups you have under insert. Do the same thing to the last one, which is view. I would love to see that. Just write it down, screenshot it, let me have it. Why I ask you to write it is so that when I mention something, like by the time I tell you go to pay, by the time you have to set orientation of your page, you will know that orientation is under page layout tab, and it is in the page setup group. That is why you need to know the names of all the groups and the tabs. Now let me move forward to other features. The next feature of Excel is this particular bar, which is called the name box. In some textbook, they call it the address bar. What this bar does is to display the address of the active cell. Now, I will come back to this to explain more. Now, this bar is called the formula bar, which displays either the formula of the active cell or the contents of the active cell. For example, I will get to example that will explain this better. Let me just rush through the environment well. Now, this place you're seeing, we call this particular bar, this ones here that you see A, B, C, D, we call them the column labels. Column labels. Why the 1, 2, 3 down, 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 down? These ones are referred to as the row numbers. Now, this whole environment that we have, the letters and numbers, the environment as a whole, which contains this little box you see here, is referred to as the spreadsheet workbook. So this is the workbook. On this workbook, we have, this is a worksheet, sorry. The document itself is called the workbook. The file created in Microsoft Excel is called workbook. But worksheet is this particular environment, which is a spreadsheet environment that contains rows and columns. Now, when the rows and columns intersect, they form cells. So the cell I have here, these cells I have here, is the intersection of what? Of rows and columns. So the rows are the horizontal lines. This is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 5. So these are the rows, and the columns are the vertical lines you see here. Like I said, column F. If I said column N, you can see now. So these are the columns and these are the rows. Now, when rows intersect with columns, it will form what? It will form cells. So the box we are having here, these boxes are referred to as cells. So every cell have an address, and the address of each cell is displayed on where there's the address of each cells will be displayed on the address bar, which is also known as the name box. So for example, now I want to know the address of this particular cell. For example, I want to know the address of I want to know the address of this particular cell. The address of this cell is what? Is cell A1. Why is it A1? Because the cell is in column A, row number 1. If I come down to somewhere here, I will call this at this cell, cell what? Cell G8. Let me zoom this so you can see it well. Alright, you can see it now. This is cell G5. Why is it G5? Because this cell is found under column G, row number 5. If I click here, the name of this particular cell is what? D2, because it is found under column D, row number 2. So you should know the purpose of this name box. So this particular name box displays the address of the active cell. What is the active cell? Any cell you click on becomes the active cell, which means if you type anything now, it will appear inside that particular cell, not in another cell. So that makes it the active cell. Once you make a cell an active cell, you will see a thick rectangle line surrounding that particular box, that particular cell, which means that cell is the active cell. I hope you understand that. Now, I said the formula bar display the formula of the active cell or the content of the active cell. For example, if I click on this cell and type something like Tudor, type my name Tudor, what is appearing on the formula bar when I click here is the content of this cell, which is Tudor. You can see it now. But if I come here and type a formula like equal to 25 multiplied by 5, now if I click outside, it gives me how much? It gives me 126. But if I click on this cell, instead of it displaying 126 on the formula bar, what would display is the formula of the active cell, not the content, because the content was gotten from a formula. So that is it. I will move on. I will get back to the formula. I will get back to calculation. I will get back to all this stuff one after the other. But this is just a review of the whole environment of Microsoft Excel. I will go down to the next thing called the scroll bar. The scroll bar is right here, which helps you move up or move down. You want to move down, you want to move up, you can use that. You can as well roll your mouse ball. Your mouse ball will help you roll up and down. Now, this plus sign you are seeing on the screen is referred to as this plus sign you are seeing. You can see when I move it out, it becomes a mouse pointer. But when I go inside, it becomes what? A plus sign. This plus sign is called a cell pointer. In an interview, when we want to confuse our applicants, we will ask them what is the difference between a cell pointer and a mouse pointer in Excel. Now, the question is quite confusing, but they are all the same. When a mouse pointer enters the spreadsheet environment, it becomes what? A cell pointer, which is a white plus that you use to select one cell or the other. You use this white plus to move from one cell to another. And any cell you click on becomes the active cell. So, they will ask you what's the difference between a mouse pointer and a cell pointer in Excel. You will say the mouse pointer and the cell pointer are the same, but when the mouse pointer enters the spreadsheet environment, it changes to a white plus sign called the cell pointer, like you can see now. All right, I will move to the next item, which is actually we have this the screw bar I show you is actually two. We have the vertical screw and we have the horizontal screw right here. All right, so the next thing I want to tell you about is this place called the sheet tab, where you can move from one particular sheet to another. You can see sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. This sheet refers to like kind of pages in Excel. Just like we have page 1, page 2, page 3, we have sheets. The worksheet is very wide and you can prepare different jobs on different sheets in one particular file. If I want to have more than 3, you click this button and you see a new sheet will appear, sheet 4. Clicking again, you have sheet 5 and sheet 6 and so on and so forth. Now, these sheets can be renamed. For example, I can right click here. Maybe the information I want to store here is about employee details. Let's say this is employee details. And I go to the next one. I just go to the second one and rename this one. To rename is you just need to right click on the name of the sheet, then click on rename. I can call this one payroll and so on and so forth. So I can rename the sheets to fit into what I want. This video was to introduce you to Excel and I hope you've learned something today. So whatever question you have, whatever I've not touched, or whatever I've said that you don't understand, you can drop your question and I will attend to it before I move to the next topic. This topic was introduction to Microsoft Excel user interface. I hope you understand it. I am to the Frank. God bless you. See you in the next video.